Folks, we have to talk about, will this utility from all these partnerships make your coin moon now or in the future? And this is the sinister truth, not what all the hype channels are spinning, because they've been spinning a lot. And how much has it helped your coin? Probably not a lot, right? And you're wondering, what the hell? It's been a couple of years. Well, let's actually talk about it. So, a lot of coins, VeChain, XRP, HBAR, they have a lot of partnerships. They have a lot of potential usage from the industry, but does that actually help your coin price? Well, first of all, you need to look at that usage. Does it actually use the coin? If these projects are using private versions of your chain, it's probably never going to help you. With Cardano's Africa thing, some of that stuff in Africa does use the private chain, a public chain, but a lot of it does use the private chain. Same thing with XRP and all these CBDCs, and Ethereum with all these CBDCs. They're using private versions of the chain, which is not the public chain, and it doesn't really interact with the public chain. Sure, you could say, yeah, but they'll use XRP to bridge everything in 5 to 10 years once everyone adopts it. But first of all, you're depending on a few things. Everyone has to adopt it. That's most likely not true. And will they ever actually use XRP to actually bridge? That's also very, very much uncertain. And in the next couple of years, it does not look like it at all. In fact, the company actually released a statement saying that it doesn't actually have to use XRP, and the various countries, the smaller countries that are looking to use the CBDC, are really not looking at that at all. Same thing with Ethereum. Yeah, they've been talking about years about all these projects on the private chain will somehow interoperate with the public chain, and it might actually help the price. That's not what's driving Ethereum's price up. That actually hasn't happened yet at all. What's driving the price up is the DeFi and the NFTs. If it wasn't for that, Ethereum wouldn't have the price it has now. So if you really look at it, with these private chains, like, oh, maybe in like a decade, they'll start helping the price because everything will be connected and they'll start communicating. You can't bank on promises like that. Those things are just almost like completely wishful thinking that basically hype artists get you excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, massive utility, blah, 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 blah. But realistically, it's very unlikely to happen. Or if it happens, it'll be in like 20 years, and I don't have 20 years to wait. Now let's actually look at the parts where they do actually use the public blockchain. Now keep this in mind. When you buy a crypto, you are not buying part of the company. That is one major differentiation between crypto and stocks. And you need to keep that in your head. Just because the company makes money does not mean you get any of the profits. Yes, a lot of people, I think, will actually mistake on this. You don't own any shares in the company. You just own their token. If the token price doesn't go up, you're still screwed. And just because the company's profits makes profits doesn't mean the token price will go up. One exception would be something like Binance, where they literally use the profits to buy back the coins and burn them to achieve some kind of scarcity. And that's only to a limited degree. But most coins don't do that, which means if the company makes profit, you don't actually benefit all that much. Look at some of these companies. They make money by selling their software. They can say like publicly, oh, we're really crypto companies. But realistically, they're just as much software companies. When Ripple sells their software for what used to be Xcurrent, but it's now just part of the suite, even if companies choose to only use that part of the software, they make money. They have licensing fees and maintenance fees. When companies use the VeChain blockchain, the foundation makes money, right? But you don't get any of that money. I think it's the same thing with HBAR or, Cardano or any of these. These organizations, foundations, companies, whatever, they get maintenance fees. They get like the initial licensing fee. They make a lot of the money. The developers there make a lot of money. The CEO there probably makes a lot of money as well. But you as an investor don't get anything because you know why? Because you don't own part of the company, so you don't actually get to share in the profits. The only way you make money is if the coin goes up. And I don't think any of these infrastructures are actually designed to moon the coin just because of transactions. And that actually makes sense if you think about it. Because if they moon the price for your coin, the fee goes up the fee a lot of times scales with the coin. And if the fee scales with the coin, that means if the coin goes up in price, the transactional price will actually go up. And that means less companies are likely to use them because the cost rises. Companies like keeping costs down. If your blockchain costs a lot to use, or is costing more to use, they might drop it. So these crypto companies or software companies, they have an incentive to keep the price of the transactions down, which means keeping the price of the coin down. And so I actually think many of these ecosystems are designed to handle millions, if not tens or hundreds of millions of transactions per day without the price going up significantly. If you look at VeChain's gas generation, like you would have to get so much VTHO burn, like 100x right now's VTHO burn, to actually make that VTHO actually more in demand and more expensive. HBAR is processing 500 TPS right now, probably more, and it hasn't helped the price one bit. Ripple has, a lot of the Ripple stuff doesn't actually use XRP, but even if it did, the transactional fees on the XRP ledger are very, very small, and due to the speed of the ledger itself, you would have to exchange probably trillions, if not tens of trillions of dollars a day to actually get really any necessary increase in price. So all these coins are basically based on speculation because the industrial utility is not anywhere close to actually making an impact, and I don't think it'll ever be there to make an impact. A lot of people are like assessing that like if we take over 100% of the industry without realizing how unlikely that is. Amazon does not have 100% of the industry. They're at probably like 40 or 50%, even that. And there's other e-tailers that actually compete with Amazon, not to mention like Walmart and Target are still there. So it's very, especially in the financial market where you have all these big banks and all these power players, it's near impossible to get like 100% of the industry. I'm going to say it is actually impossible. There's already other systems in there and they're pretty entrenched. Same thing with like education or any of these big areas. You can't get 100% of the industry. You got to look at like if we capture 10% of the industry, if we capture 2% of the industry, and that 2% of the industry is not going to be all the coins. The software and like other players are going to be there too. So even out of that 10% or 2%, your coins are only going to be a small part of that as well. So based on those transactions, can you actually roll up in price? And based on the speed that these chains can handle transactions, the fact that the exchanges and not anyone else needs to be the liquidity pools, I just don't really see it. And if you're looking at using the coin as gas, besides Ethereum, most of these coins, their gas fees are so small compared to the supply and stuff that it's very, very insignificant unless you take over like 100% of the industry and then some, which isn't really going to happen. And you do need to realize like what kind of like adoption realistically can I expect? Not what's in my wettest fantasy dreams. That's never going to happen. But like what can I realistically expect in an appreciable amount of time, because other people are going to catch up as well, and there are power players and a lot of money in this. So if you take all those factors into consideration, I do not see one single coin in any of these crypto industries where massive like industrial utility will actually pump up the price of the coin. And because you don't actually own a piece of the company, and the company has an incentive to keep the gas fees and the usage fees down because they want more people to actually adopt their technology so they can collect licensing fees, you might be just a little bit screwed or really screwed if you're depending on that. Because a lot of times the company's interests are actually against your interests. And some of you might be like, well, then, if the coin goes up in price, then the company makes a lot of money too, because the company will have a lot of that coin. That's true. But here's the thing. The company owns like billions of that coin, like half the supply or more anyways. So if you take like VeChain, XRP or anything, they already own billions of dollars worth of coin and they can sell it for massive profits, which some of the founders probably are. Same thing with HBAR, Cardano, whatever. Like these founders own billions of these coins. They don't need the price to go up to $5 to make billions of dollars. They can sell it at the price right now and make billions of dollars. And some of them probably are. They're not going to wait 10, 20 years to make tens of billions of dollars. They're going to make that billions of dollars right now and then invest it in something else. So the thing is, like, that's what I've been saying, like DeFi, NFTs, those are actually the things that are going to make your chains valuable, because DeFi people actually have to lock that money up. They don't have a choice. And, they have to actually have usage on-chain value of the coin. So that's going to just take things out of supply. And the revenue actually generated from DeFi are going to make people want to buy your coin. So those things are going to drive the price of the value up. The only thing that these partnerships and utility does is they create a little bit of FOMO, and that could drive it up a decent amount. But in the end, that's always going to come back down. And right now, we are nowhere. I don't think we're within 5 years, maybe even 10 years of any kind of utility really affecting the price of the coin, or if it will ever. So that is the harsh truth why you want an ecosystem, why you want DeFi, why you want NFTs on your chain. And realistically, this industrial utility stuff, that might not affect it in a very, very long time. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.